So Mando seems to be assembling his A-team, this episode. Every good show has to do it. You got the Avengers, you have the X-Men, and Mando has Quill, so that counts for something. And a Blurg and Cara Dune. So I think he's got a pretty good team. I think he's got a chance.
And a nurse droid.
Yoda.
And a nurse droid.
A nurse droid. You can't go wrong with a nurse droid.
And the baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Can,
which Taika Waititi recently said, stop calling him that. He has an actual name that he won't release. They haven't released yet.
Taika said that.
Taika said that.
Listen, you release the name and we'll use
exactly.
the name.
Yeah, exactly.
Until then, we're going to say Baby Yoda.
Jesus.
And release the species because we're calling that the Yodans too. So.
Yeah.
So you better stop
We're
that
going to
shit
call him
soon.
whatever we want to call him.
Exactly. It's time to reveal this secret, okay? Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a lot for you. So, yeah, stay tuned after the intro.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, 4 colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Christina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom. With their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls. They fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Meanwhile Back on the Podcast. I'm Saba.
I'm Chris.
Christina.
I'm Frank.
And welcome to episode 7 of We Have Spoken. This is going to be our Mandalorian recap of the episode The Reckoning. So there's a lot to take in. We have a continuous storyline, which is really cool for the next 2 episodes, but there's a lot to just dig in with this first one. What do you guys' first thoughts?
Honestly, these episodes were the best thing I've gotten from Star Wars, and that includes The Rise of Skywalker in the last couple months. So I'm pretty pleased.
Okay, I don't know if that was like a burn or a shade.
That
but
was both
For me,
that was both.
For me, I got the 2 things that I wanted from this series that I've said from the beginning, which was jetpack and black saber. Even though dark saber was just there for like.
I thought you
a
wanted
minute.
a story.
Well, I said two of the things that I want.
But this gave us a story.
It did tie up.
There's hanging threads now, right? And we can go into season 2 with some hanging threads. So.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought some parts were like a bit dry. It could have been like a little bit more exciting, but I liked the last 2 episodes the best of the series. So yeah, that was fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I didn't give my opinion on it. I really liked it. Actually, I really enjoyed it. Especially this last one, like the very last one.
Yeah.
Oh, there was just some really good scenes, and I just really love the characters.
Yeah.
And like Cara Dune.
The character development was great in
Yeah.
this. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, really good.
There's a weird part in the... Actually, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh.
So yeah, Sawa?
Oh, am I starting us off? So I'm starting us off. So we are kind of starting, obviously, on the episode called The Reckoning. What happens here is that Mando receives a message, essentially telling him to come back to Navarro with the quarry. There's some sort of deal that's going to be struck. I don't know if you guys, when you guys saw this, we were like, what were your instincts? Like, I trust this or I don't trust this?
Instantly, I was like, he's going to get double crossed. Instantly.
Yeah.
I was like, he's going to get double crossed.
Yeah,
I'm like, Grief Karga's not the kind of guy that calls you just to be like straight up tell you what's going to happen. Like, you always know that there's another side of that coin, for sure.
To be honest, I kind of thought that like he should I kind of thought that was a mistake. I thought Grief Karga should have been a character that when he says something, he doesn't go back on his word, because it doesn't make Mando look like a dummy for trust. Because like, if the audience knows and you've been betrayed before, like, you should know, right? And it's like, when he went, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, so he knows that Grief Karga is one of those guys that won't betray him. And now if he betrays him, Mando looks like such a dummy. Because it's like, it's so obvious, right?
Yeah.
And then he
I
does
felt
it.
like he knew it was a trap. That's why he made a team. He brought back up, right?
And you remember, if that trap actually worked, they would have both died. You know, Grief Karga like stopped the trap himself, right?
Yeah.
But the whole time he was like, "Oh, it's a trap! It's a trap." Did he make any precautions to stop the trap? No, because he would have just gotten shot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Grief Karga kind of had to be a little bit of an antagonist, because he basically chooses the bounty hunters and who goes on the mission. So he's basically the boss of all the missions. and
Mando went AWOL.
He basically
Or went
went
rogue.
against the mission and
The
the
guild,
order.
yeah.
So he was in favor. His guild kind of backed him up and kind of saved him from the situation that he created for himself. But he put Grief Karga in an awkward place. So yeah,
Yeah, he
for
wasn't
sure.
like inherently like evil or anything. He's
No,
just
no,
like doing
absolutely
his
not.
job.
Well, Karga provides a lot of exposition in that first scene
Yeah.
too, right? He tells you that things have gone to shit on his planet, and the Empire has basically kind of shut everything down, and they're not able to take any more bounties, and blah 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 blah. So Karga's, in a way, is like the only thing that kind of makes you believe his story, or sorry, the only thing that makes you kind of trust him is that he's telling Mando this, and he's also saying, like, are you available for like one more thing? Come in and kill this guy for me, basically, right? So he's giving him a job. So Karga has a use for him, or has a need for him, which is the only reason I kind of second guess the whole, okay, he's gonna betray him, right?
Yeah.
There's something here that he needs from him, right?
And Karga's also not wrong. In order to kind of live as a free man, and in order for people to not keep chasing
yeah.
Baby Yoda, he did have to go back
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
tie up
Yeah.
loose ends.
That's for sure
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I like that the whole Grief Karga's like motivation where he's like, don't trust me to look out for me.
Yeah.
And right now that's you helping me.
Yeah.
Right? That's us helping each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like that. The only thing I didn't like was how, like, I did like the fact that, like, you know, Grief Karga is a character that looks out for him and not does things because he's evil or whatever. But what I didn't like was everybody knew it was a trap, but Mando really didn't do anything about it.
Right.
It just so happened to
Right.
have, like,
It's like he kind of knew he had to walk into it in a way. You
Yeah.
kind of have that, it's like, oh, I know it's a trap, but like there's nothing I can do moments. And maybe it was like that. And
I think he thought he could beat them. I think he didn't know
Yeah.
that they
yeah,
were going
it
to
was.
be so...
I'm referring to one scene in particular later where, because he went to Cara Dune to, I mean, like that's the next thing he does actually,
Yeah.
just turn around and go to Cara Dune and recruit her to watch his back, and then they do a piss poor job of doing of like watching each
but
other's
that
back.
scene where she's like first introduced again,
Oh
and
yeah,
she's fighting that guy, I was like, damn.
I want to see more of those fights. They had like a weird rope thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
the
pulling
belt's
on-
kind of cool, man. Like it, you know, I think it definitely was a little bit of an homage to her UFC roots, because it's like close quarters combat, and you know, she kind of got to do what she does best.
And she's supposed
Which
to
is
have a
beat the shit out of
reputation.
And she's fighting a Dathomirian.
Yeah,
I think.
it looks like a Dathomirian. Yeah,
She's
or a
supposed to
Night
have
Brother or
a
whatever.
reputation, and she has like her awards on her arm kind
Yeah.
of thing, right?
her
So-
chain code. That's what they called
Yeah.
it. A chain code.
Yeah.
I do really like that character, and when she did leave, I was like, I do hope they find ways to have these characters
Yeah.
come in, because it was feeling like very episodic. And you know, she ends up, you know, sitting down with Mando, and he asks her to like come with him, and you know, you kind of see this like friendship, even though they haven't known each other long.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of run by the same code in
Yeah.
a sense.
Yeah.
And then Baby Yoda just like at that table, you know, just like sitting there. But that's like Christina said, that he's basically like assembling his team, like he's getting like his Avengers
Yeah.
together in a way.
And they have blue milk. If you guys, if you
I
guys
didn't.
noticed.
I didn't spot the
They
blue
had
milk.
blue milk.
Yeah, blue milk.
And then
What
Cara
does that
Dune.
mean? What is
or
the blue milk?
or blue
What's
booze.
the significance? I
Or
don't
blue
know.
booze. It
Luke
could be booze
Skywalker was
too.
drinking it in the first movie,
Oh,
pretty much.
okay.
Could be
Like-
booze too, man.
Could be booze. I
Could
mean,
be
it could have been
booze.
booze the whole time.
But it's blue. But it is blue.
But and Cara
good
Dune
nod.
pulls a page out of Mando's book where she's like, "No, I won't do the job." Oh,
Yeah.
there's this other element. Okay, I'll do the job.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do the same thing over and over
Yeah,
again.
as soon as she finds out it's an empire, it's
Yeah.
an imp, as they call them. It's an
Yeah.
imp. She's all in. She's
Yeah.
like, fuck it, I'm coming, dude.
Yeah.
Let's do this shit.
yeah, I guess they are similar in that sense.
Well, she's also trying to be retired, so it makes sense for her character. Like,
Yeah.
she's not really trying to engage in
Well, she's
fights.
hiding.
And she's hiding,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's hiding, right? She's an ex-rebel stormtrooper, or ex-shock trooper,
Shock
and she
I wish
doesn't
we
want to
saw.
deal with the empire
I wish
anymore.
we saw like what shock troopers could actually do.
Me too, dude.
Oh, I
Sounds
think we
awesome.
will.
Yeah.
I think
Me
they're gonna
too.
get
It sounds
there.
like I don't know if you guys ever play Halo, but there's this thing called ODSTs where
Yeah.
they just like put you in a tube and shoot you down to Earth from
Well, they
from orbit.
called her a dropper.
Yeah, drop
Right?
Yeah.
They said they're like, I don't know. I think it was Queel. Queel was saying something about her being a dropper
yeah, and that's actually the next person they end up picking up on their way
on
there.
their little journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also there's that scene in the ship
As a
that
glorified.
happens, which is cool, where Mando lets her choose a weapon, and I feel like it shows
Yeah.
the trust. Like he knows her. Like he's
Yeah.
like, choose
Yeah.
what you want. We're like ready to go. I feel like she's like a kid in a candy store. I think we all would be. I think I could possibly like hurt myself with a lot of those, but I would be excited.
You know, I've always thought that like all those weapons are just like confiscated weapons that he took because he
Yeah.
doesn't seem to care about them.
No.
It's like Bill Burr opens it up and he's like, "Yo, man, don't touch my shit." But
We've
really,
only seen him.
he doesn't
Could
care
be.
We've
It
only
could
seen
be.
him with one rifle.
with his rifle.
We've only
Yeah.
seen him with one
Kind of
rifle.
the same things.
And I don't know about you guys, but I
That's
miss the
good stuff.
disintegrations. I really do.
Yeah.
Are
me too.
most of his weapons
Disintegrations
like
were
in
great.
his armor
Yes.
and on his
Yeah,
person
he's got a
anyway?
pistol.
He's
got
a
a pistol
walking
and
arsenal.
nothing.
He's a walking arsenal.
So that's why he doesn't care. He
Yeah.
Yeah.
has everything he needs with him,
Yeah.
and he thinks he can beat everyone. He's not
Oh,
afraid.
and
What happened on the
there's
ship?
a great comedic beat. Baby Yoda gets into the cockpit while they're in the weapons closet and starts trying to fly the ship, fucking with the control stick,
Which
So
is as
cute.
big as he
Yeah.
is. It's so
which is as big as he is. He's literally standing on the
Do you
armrest.
think he's trying not to
basically
go
fucking with
back
it.
there?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Like,
what?
maybe.
he's trying not to go back
Yeah.
there. That's what I thought. Like
Yeah.
he knows that they're going. He
Oh.
I
doesn't
think
want
he knows. I think he definitely knows that like they're going on some sort
It's
of
like when a
dangerous
kid
mission.
knows they're going to a dentist, and they're just like, "No, I don't
Oh,
want
dude.
to."
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
you
That
tell
was
him
kind of like
You
that
tell
was
him
kind
it's
of
Disneyland
erratic.
first.
No, that's why, because he never acts that way. Like
Yeah,
he knows, so that
true.
made me think like,
True, but you remember in the first couple episodes when he's fucking with the little steel ball
yeah, but
on
that's
top
like very
of the
like,
thing?
or when he
No,
played the press the
but-
button.
But
Yeah.
he isn't. They aren't going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Navarro right now. They're going back to the
Queel. They're going to see Queel.
which
Where
was like
he-
a different place.
Yeah, which is where he was in prison.
captive. Right.
He was
right,
captive
right.
there for so long.
Yeah.
This whole
Oh,
thing.
right. Oh, okay.
He definitely
Okay.
understands things because when they were doing the arm wrestling
Yeah.
and he like chokes her out or
Yeah.
like so he chokes her out, like he definitely understands things. But that scene also like establishes the fact that he knows things very shallowly.
Yeah.
Like what's on the surface and not like he probably doesn't know that they're going back to Navarro, right? But he knows they're doing something dangerous, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he knows he's in danger.
Or he could just be fucking around with the joystick. That's
He
fun
could
too.
be. But I don't know. In my head, I was like, oh, he definitely knows. Maybe he didn't, but that's
Yeah.
kind of like how I read it. But they end up meeting with their good old pal Queel. Is that how we say it?
Yeah, Queel.
And they get sort of introduced to another one of Mando's old friends.
Yeah, Queel's been busy. He's been
Yeah.
busy since you last saw Mando. He went and recovered the IG-11 unit that was left at
Oh,
that what was it? I don't know, fort something.
Yeah.
Played by Alan Tudyk,
Yeah.
my boy.
Who?
No, it's played by
Alan
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Oh, Taika Waititi.
Your other
yeah.
boy.
Pleasant play. I can't make that mistake. The nerds will kill me.
I think you'll survive, dude.
Okay.
Taika
Taika Waititi. Wait, who does Alan Tudyk play then?
in this?
He played something.
No. He was K2SO in Rogue One.
Oh,
Yeah.
I swear he was in here.
It's okay,
too.
man.
I
It's
know.
okay
I
to
feel
assume
like-
Alan
I
Tudyk's
feel
in
like-
everything.
I feel like
Anyways,
too.
so-
It's okay to assume Alan Tudyk's in
is
everything
so-
because this year he was in everything.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's fair.
So in the most the character development we've seen in the show,
Yeah.
they show a freaking flashback of
And
Alan Tudyk like character developing.
And how Western and how samurai was
Yeah.
this entire scene.
That's true.
Like the little kind of like clips of
Yeah.
like the small incremental kind of development steps of this IG-11 unit as Queel is like retraining it, right? Like very samurai, very Western.
Can I
like
just
very.
say, I found it really weird that like they do a lot of famous character voices for these characters, but then they voice change them anyway. Like to be
I know,
honest,
that
I
was
don't
funny.
like.
You can't
Pedro-
tell that's Nick Nolte?
No, I can't tell Pedro Pascal at all.
Oh,
like
really?
like there's no accent.
But that
for me.
he's
Really?
using his real voice, I feel.
What? No, there's a voice changer
Oh,
on his
I can
voice.
pick up. I can
100%.
pick up on Pedro right away.
I mean, I can pick up on his mannerisms, but not his voice at
Richard
all.
Iowati, I recognized.
IG-11 didn't sound like
well,
like
okay. Well,
Taika Waititi to me.
Pedro's voice in Game of Thrones was more exaggerated.
Yeah.
His
Right.
accent,
Right.
right? But
I'm probably unfairly comparing it to that.
Maybe.
But still, like I didn't hear any cadence. It was just his mannerisms.
Yeah.
Because there was definitely a voice changer there, like to make it sound. You know how Kylo Ren, like it's his voice.
Yeah.
But it sounds like muffled in
Yeah.
a way.
Guys, there's a guy I work with, and I realize his voice sounds like Kylo Ren. And I tell him, and he gets
Oh,
really
geez.
annoying. And I'm like, can you say to me, take my hand, come to the dark side? And he's like, stop. So, yeah, he really likes me. That's really.
That's funny.
Does he
Anyway.
listen to your show?
Oh, no, I would never.
Does he see you shopping for a Rey costume on your work laptop?
No.
No, okay.
Wait, not like that guy. No, this is getting real weird. Now he can never listen because that's awkward.
So
Anyway,
so this very samurai like scene with Queel retraining the IG unit, and there's definitely some hilarious moments in it, like physical comedy moments from Taika. The
Kind of.
animation,
Yeah.
kind of Taika.
well,
I'm
Taika's
sure-
directing the episode.
Yeah, he is directing this episode. And we see this giant fucking hole in the IG's head when Queel's riding away with
I
it
think
too.
he's just lonely. Cool. He's probably lonely.
I think Queel is satisfied. I think
he
Queel's
loves
a very
his blurs.
He's also like
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
he
retired
does.
guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
You
he's
know
like
what
the
he
guy
is.
who retired to a
Yeah.
ranch and
Yeah,
like
so
has a
true.
bunch of horses.
Yeah.
The blurgs are his horses.
It's exactly what it is, man. Like there's so many allegories for the Western world in this show. It's ridiculous.
I know people like that who like did
Yeah.
stressful
When he's learning how to
security work.
walk again, I'm like, damn.
It looks like he's
look
gonna looks like he's trying to take a dump on the ground.
Okay, I was like, this is. I was
Did
thinking it's like
anyone-
Rocky.
Did anyone find this weird because it's like a robot? Like it's like I don't know.
This could be a whole show, you know.
Watching IG-88 or IG-11.
And Queel just like
No, but I don't understand why he doesn't have motor functions. It's not like his nerves have to get like the nerves are all
Well,
there.
they said in the
Rehabilitation.
they said in the
it's weird.
exposition, that his neural pathways were damaged. So if I like as a human, if I lost my like if I fried a part of my brain, I'd probably have some trouble with my motor abilities.
Right, as a human.
Yeah.
As a droid,
But
you
maybe
probably would
but,
just have
but
plugged
we don't know how those things
Yeah,
are
yeah,
wired.
but
right?
if
Right,
his
We have no
code-
idea.
But intuitively,
Yeah.
you would suspect that like your nerves are in place. You just replace the whatever processor. You
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
From what I understand, if there's like artificial intelligence, it could like learn from doing certain things over and over
Right,
again.
right.
I don't know.
Machine
But
learning.
Saba, you're the
Machine
IT
learning.
person.
Yeah,
Is that what's
machine
going on?
learning is a thing.
Is there a
that does-
machine
Yeah.
learning aspect to this?
I don't know if there is, but that is something that can be done.
Yeah.
It is. I guess it is weird because he's like relearning how to walk.
Yeah.
Kinda like a
Yeah.
child. I
Because
didn't think
the way
about
he
it
was
that way.
walking, he was crouched down and walking as if like he was having physical trouble when his natural state is standing straight up.
Yeah.
He would have to crouch, like willingly crouch down first, and then, anyways.
It depends on the code that's in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Queel effectively turns IG-11 from a hunter
into C-3PO.
into basically C-3PO, like serving tea
Would you like
and basically being a butler.
Yeah,
in
but
his
not
house.
as like mouthy.
Not
And
as
it
mouthy,
is
no.
supposed to be against his nature too. Like
Yeah.
all this new
Yeah.
programming
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
what he was originally programmed.
Yeah.
I like that
so-
moment when he walks into the tent too, and they both like quick draw on him, like both
Yeah.
like, Cara Dune and Mando,
Yeah.
like how fast, because they know how dangerous IG units are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well, and
they
this is
have
a-
a reputation.
It's an interesting arc for Mando, and we kind of see it over these two episodes progress because
Yeah.
we know he does have such a hatred for droids. It's very understandable considering what his past was.
Yeah,
Obviously, like I think his parents died in an attack that was primarily like executed by droids.
right.
Um.
And I think they wanted us to love IG-11 because of what they do to him in the last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. We'll get
They
there.
wanted that to be sad.
But so he ends up when he recruits Queel, he's like, okay, well, IG-11 is also coming with me,
Right.
which does pose a bit of an issue. But he does like reassure me he's a nurse droid. He is going to help out. Like this is, and then at this point, Mando's like, okay, I'm going to take what I can get. And I think again, he's really getting these people he feels like he can really trust to be on his team.
So it's pretty much confirmed that I know we've had contentions. For me, I thought it was confirmed that the purge was perpetrated by the Empire, correct?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why he's got such a hatred for droids and not but he's willing to work with the Empire, right? Like that's such a shallow hatred because
Well,
I think
it's like the army sends
Yeah.
soldiers, so you hate soldiers and
Yeah,
not the army. It's
but-
like it feels weird.
Yeah, but I don't think Mando's issues with the droids are exclusively to the purge. I think it's what happened to him when he was a kid and the separatists were invading different planets.
I think
right?
it's also
No,
the
I
separatists
think-
weren't carrying out the
I
purge.
think
The
the-
Empire was.
I think the B2 units were sent by the Empire.
No,
I know it's not. It's weird.
Yeah, it's
because
not canon.
theirs.
Like the BT units were never part of the like the Imperial forces. Like there wasn't any real like military droids other than the ones that were being used by the stormtroopers. So the BT units were specifically
That's so-
separatists.
that's so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Chris, also people aren't good. Like people maybe don't have to act in line with who they're aligned with. Like people have that decision making factor, right? Whereas droids are just going to do whatever they're programmed to do. They don't have the element of like
right.
emotion, right?
But if you're looking for like illogical hate for something, right? Like so first of all, like
I guess I'm saying it doesn't have to be illogical. Maybe he just like trusts that people will like
Maybe he
certain-
can read
Well,
people, but he
Yeah,
can't read droids.
yeah, exactly.
but that makes no sense because droids are like programmed by people, and if it's like if he's mad about the purge, which I thought like was sent by the Empire, it's like the people behind that is someone you should hate because it's like because it's the person that made the choice.
But even
right?
when he had to work with IG-11 on that one mission, IG-11 was so like black and white about everything.
right,
like
right,
must self-destruct now because there's no possible way out of this. And Mando's just like, yeah, there is. Like, let's just try. Who cares?
Right.
Whereas the robots are so calculated. So I think that's kind of like what he doesn't like.
So his childhood thing, that wasn't the Purge. There's two
that was something else. That wasn't.
That was the
Purge.
Separatists.
That's where the disconnect happened for me because there's two cataclysmic events that happened to him.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
No.
So let's talk about the scene where Baby Yoda is watching the Mandalorian and Cara Dune arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Because his reaction
a little
to
over
Cara
the top,
Dune is like he's definitely bonded with the Mandalorian at this point because he's not only saved his life once from the Mudhorn, but now he thinks he's saving his life from a non-threatening Cara Dune.
I wish I could bond.
And he
with
tries
Baby Yoda.
to choke her. He tries to choke her out, dude. He tries to do the force choke.
That's also interesting because that's such
the
a
dark
side
power.
mood.
The dark side power, right?
Which is good if you think about it because that means like
he's a child.
Like force users aren't inherently good side first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, without a doubt.
He's a child. He's like acting on like instinct. And I know in like with Anakin, that was one thing they were like, you need to stop, you need to think things through, you need to do all that. But as a child, like that is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my friend's going to be hurt. I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just an easy sort of thing to do. But that wasn't insane.
The most interesting aspect of this scene is what Queel says after. He starts talking about things that he's seen that he's seen in his past, right? And he starts alluding to like stuff that having to do with the Jedi. And like he doesn't say the Jedi, but he definitely mentions that there's something that he's seen that kind of reminds him of this. And he starts talking about the time where he served with the Empire. So he's definitely tying us back into the Jedi. And this kind of further expands when the next episode, when another character kind of adds some deeper exposition in the next episode. So yeah.
Do you think they're going to try to establish more things about the limits of the Force and the parameters?
There's no such thing.
The limit does not exist.
I think they fucked that up. I think it went the other way where they like broke all the limits.
And we'll get to this when we get to the end.
I wish they did.
But do you think they might try to use the shows as a way to kind of make up?
No, I think
for
they'll
that?
use the shows to apologize for what they've done in the movies.
But here's the thing. We'll get to this when we get to the very end of the very last episode about what, like, kind of like our season 2 predictions of sorts, because there's a few ways that they can go.
Sure.
I know moving on with this scene, you know, they're traveling to Navarro again. Not sure if it's a good or bad idea at this point. But they all trust him and they're going along with him. Sorry, I don't remember what happened right away.
It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Like chronologically, I don't remember.
It's really cool that Queel is fabricating a new baby carriage for Baby Yoda. That was kind of dope.
Yeah, because they're at such a disadvantage having to carry him around.
Yeah, the one thing that kind of jumped out at me about these particular scenes is the animosity that Cara Dune kind of has for Queel. Like, and it obviously has something to do with the fact that he was serving the Empire. But once he explains to her that he was doing it as a servant, as a slave, you know, she doesn't really show any empathy for that, really, which is kind of interesting. But there's no real further kind of exploration of that conflict between those two characters.
For someone who's like a shock trooper who's like been on the grounds, I can see how it can be a very like black and white issue for her.
Yeah,
she's a soldier. Like, she's been there. She's fought. She's killed. She's probably lost people.
See, it's interesting because like this doesn't necessarily have to point to. Okay, so when I first got introduced to Cara Dune, I've always thought she was like a very mercenary type, because she said like after we did what we did, all the bureaucracy I wasn't really interested in, which kind of made me. I know it's not confirmation, but it kind of made me believe that like she was a soldier fighting for a cause that she didn't completely believe in, and it was this sort of thing where it's like, yeah, she's just a soldier. And she found a cause that like she wanted to fight for, but like isn't like the primary reason why she's fighting. But now like she has a weird, I guess it doesn't constitute for like a hatred for the Empire. She could just like separately hate the Empire, right? But I don't know, like it was. I always thought she was just like a mercenary type, where it's like I'm just a soldier.
That could have come with perspective too, though.
Yeah, like over time.
Maybe after stepping away from it, she like got different.
Yeah, I just thought it was like a little bit weird, but it's not a game breaker for sure.
Another way you could see it maybe is like, you know, she joins like really gung ho and she's passionate, she's fighting, but like I guess it's kind of around the mercenary thing is like maybe that's all she really knows is like fighting, and so when it gets to calm down, it's like, what's my purpose here? Like I'm not gonna. Like, imagine Cara Dune at court, like, or I don't know, it's not court, but whatever they have there.
Yeah.
You know?
She just left the Republic really fast, in my opinion, for her to care enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like she could still hate the Empire despite of that.
Oh, she definitely hates the Empire.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you
I
become
think a lot of
rebel.
people hate the Empire though, because they were like blowing up planets.
The Empire were the worst, dude. They were like
real
enslaving.
extra with things,
They
you
were
know?
enslaving Wookiees and
Yeah.
all kinds of shit. They were literally like a proxy for the Nazis, like with like almost, like 1-for-1, like Nazis and Empire.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess so. They're both pretty bad.
He based the helmets on on the Nazis for sure.
Yeah.
But, different ideologies, but yeah.
both questionable.
They wouldn't let aliens
Yeah.
into their ranks. Like there's all kinds of shit,
that true?
right? Yeah, they wouldn't let aliens into their ranks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn, but we're all
But we're all
aliens in the end.
Yeah.
You know? Wow, real deep. Moving on.
Deep cuts, George. Deep cuts.
I mean, they blew up Leia's planet and made her watch.
That was pretty
Oh, I
fucking
know.
cold, man. That was cold blooded.
Yeah.
That was
And no one
pretty
talked
fucked
about it
up.
after.
Yeah,
I know, no
yeah.
one
And then
really
it was just
did.
like
Oh,
nothing.
and I think it was revealed too that I think Cara Dune was from Alderaan.
Yeah,
She's
she is from Alderaan.
She's from
That's
Alderaan.
why she hates
That's
it.
more hate.
Empire.
There we
you
go.
There's her backstory.
There we go.
They never
100%
talked about it,
makes
but yeah.
Now
There
it
we
makes
go.
sense why she hates the Empire.
Blow up a planet. They should have talked about that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to like have a
But you
revelation.
know what? Maybe they
no,
do
it's
that.
cool. It's cool. I like
kind
it.
of like
I like
because
it.
it's like in the story. It's like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't know, you don't know.
Exactly.
But if you do,
Yeah.
because I
yeah.
completely forgot about that. Yeah,
Well, they only find out she's from Alderaan in the next episode.
yeah.
Like, and it's because of another character.
So
right?
maybe they'll talk about that more.
Yeah. No,
in
I'm actually
season
okay
2.
with. I'm actually okay with them not talking about it. It's like it's like a fact that you would know if you watch the show
Yeah.
deeper, right?
Yeah. All right, so we finally get to Navarro. Is that how we say it?
Yep.
Navarro, yeah.
Yeah, and
Dave Navarro.
Yeah, okay. That's what I look at. And Grief Karga is waiting for them. As
Can I
they
just say,
exit
I
the
really like the
Razor
character
Crest.
of Grief Karga.
I do
Like,
too.
and I'm
I
happy.
think he's great, man.
Number one, he came back, and number
He's
two, he
great.
like worked with Mando for whatever capacity that they worked.
I
Yeah,
like the
and-
way he talks. It kind of feels like he's always trying to swindle you in a way.
Yes.
Like he has that voice.
Yeah, and you could tell like
He
there's
should
a-
he should have a toothpick in his mouth and flipping
Yeah.
a nickel.
Yeah, like you can
right?
tell like there's an air of dangerousness with
He's a
his
businessman.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
you can tell that he's dangerous with a gun, but his skills are just not exclusive to that. It's
Yeah.
like he can work his way around deals and mercantile.
And we
wits
find out
stuff.
why in the next episode. Like there's
Yeah.
some exposition that you
It
kind of
can be like that in
kind of
business
detail
too.
that.
You know, you
Oh, for
can't-
sure.
You could trust people, but they're not always going to do what you think they're going to do, and they're not always
Yeah.
going to be like on your side, even though they're kind of on your side.
Yeah.
So-
Who was worried when he was holding like Baby Yoda?
No, I knew he
I knew
wouldn't
he
do
wasn't,
anything
but
there.
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
I knew he wouldn't do anything
okay.
there. But
Yeah. Oh, and he's like he has like three thugs with him.
yeah.
And so our trio's riding blurgs. That was pretty cool. How
some interesting alien species in the party though, because I don't think I've ever seen the one that had the silver, kind of almost a similar armor to the Mando, but he wasn't wearing a helmet. Like I don't even know. I don't even any clue what that guy is. So that was kind of cool.
It's
And then
funny,
this guy's wearing like a Knights of Ren helmet. There's one guy.
I think it's funny that they're riding blurgs because Mendo did not want to ride a blurg.
But he
It's
mastered the blurg, man. He mastered
in
it.
one montage.
In
scene.
one day.
There was a purpose to it. There was a reason
In
why
one
he had
day.
to master riding the blurg.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And hats off to fucking Carl Weathers on his performance.
Oh
man.
yeah.
He's
One of my
fantastic,
favorite-
dude.
Oh, so
one of my
good.
favorite
He's
characters.
fantastic.
So now we have a scene. You know, it's your classic campfire scene.
Yep.
We're all gathering around.
Yep.
I love
What
it
are they
when
eating?
telling
What do we
some
think the meat
stories.
is?
So Western. So
I think
Western.
they did show the animal. I think it was that animal that
Yeah,
we
that
saw
weird
like a
one.
second ago. With like it's like stalking them, and then Mando just probably shoots him.
Yeah, and then
That's
out of
funny.
nowhere, what
Oh,
appears? Isn't there like a bird or something that just like comes?
There's like
into
this
the wall?
this dragon
This
kind of
Yeah.
like bird
Riddick
character.
style like
Yeah.
darkness.
Like
Yeah, they
like
get
a larger
ambushed.
like a larger Minoc.
They get
Well,
ambushed,
but actually
right?
before that, like Mandalorian, the Mando and Grief Karga are having a nice conversation, and I like that like meaning of enemy sort of deal.
Yeah, he's definitely playing the the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of deal.
And they were talking about like what happened in Navarro, right? And
Yeah.
it's like how all the ex-Empire like kind of took over the town.
Yep.
Which is surprising because there's a lot of stormtroopers left in post-Empire. Like, where did these guys all come from, right?
Well,
I guess like they're yeah. Go ahead.
See, that's another thing that they're taking from real life history because there's lots of stories about the Nazis taking
Like
off to
South
Argentina
America,
and
yeah.
South America and
Yeah.
Antarctica. and
And
you
Arcturus
know,
just seems like the
Yeah,
worst
but they
place to
don't.
go.
But they don't
Well-
like stay in formation and stay in
Yeah,
uniform.
No, I
exactly.
know,
Or, like,
I
take
know,
over
I know.
ground.
They play the shell game and
no,
go
I
into
know,
them, yeah.
but like having them go away to the outskirts of the galaxy
Right.
and hide, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
they're not in the core worlds
Yeah.
anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, so they get attacked by this fucking hellish ass like
Yeah,
pterodactyl thingy, and you see Cara Dune's gun for the first time. How what it does? It's
Yeah.
a fucking light machine gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it has like 2 testicle like drum magazines.
I guess that's
Testicle-like.
a way to describe it.
Testicle.
Have you
like,
seen
yeah.
it? It's
Yeah.
legit like a dick. the entire gun.
I wasn't
I
thinking
didn't
that.
notice
I didn't
that.
notice that either.
Maybe
can't- I
only
you
noticed it
noticed
Didn't have it
it.
on the brain.
Maybe you noticed it
I
because
can't
we were kind of
remember-
watching Watchmen at the same time.
Blue.
Never. I'm never. We're never gonna escape those dicks.
It's a full on pterodactyl.
We're never gonna
I know,
escape
it's
those
so
dicks.
crazy.
Pterodactyl.
I was not expecting this. I was like, and I've never, like, I feel like people in Navarro, like, they sleep here, and, like, this was never brought up before that these creatures exist here.
Yeah,
Oh,
No.
and her light gun's like semi-automatic too.
yeah. No,
it's fully automatic.
full auto.
Oh, full automatic.
Full
Whatever.
automatic. dude.
And then yeah, and Grief Garg gets fucked up by
Yep.
by the
And so
With the
this is an
freaking
interesting scene that happens next, because this episode was actually dropped right before
yes,
the movie
night,
came out.
the night before.
And I was like saying, like, do you think they
Yeah.
did this because something happens in this episode
That's
that
exactly what it
happened?
is. Yeah.
And then, after watching this in the movie, we
Oh,
kind of see what
man.
happens, because Grief's like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. It's just a
Yep.
flesh wound. It's not really just a flesh wound.
And he's like bleeding out.
Yeah. And then we see little baby Yoda, just waddle over. And we see kind of like one of our first instances, I think, on like a TV screen of force healing.
Force healing. Yeah.
Yeah. First instance of force healing, therefore making it, well, we
Well, I
can't
think in the
speculate whether
games
it's a
there was
light
force
side or a
healing.
dark side thing anymore because we don't know where Baby Yoda sits on the light side or dark side, right? And
Yeah,
he's
that-
got this ability. And clearly, again, Chris,
Well, the
we
dark
talked
side
about
wanted
this
to
in the last
study him.
episode.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda just has this inherent knowledge of
Yeah.
his own power,
Yeah.
right? And
Which is weird to me.
Yoda, like we thought that he was this
Yeah. I'm not.
You
I'm
know-
not really down for that decision.
But
Like,
here's the thing. It could be like another sense to them. It's like kind of like we have knowledge of like,
well, that's what I'm kind of
weird
thinking
things.
Right.
now.
Well,
But
the
That's what I'm
dark,
kinda
the dark
thinking
side
is
was
true.
trying to
them.
study him. So in the beginning, they said bring him alive or dead, and there was a scientist.
Right.
And the scientist was doing something. He was trying
Yeah,
to.
but the scientist was actually a good guy,
No,
Yeah,
but he was,
which he never
but he
came
was
back.
working for the Empire.
Yeah,
the
so-
Empire
but he
hired
didn't want to
him.
hurt him. He didn't
No,
want
he
to hurt
didn't.
him. Yeah.
But the Empire was trying to learn something from
So-
studying
Yeah.
Baby
Yeah, yeah.
Yoda.
So-
no,
people-
for sure. What this show's
Yeah.
like selling is that like it's Yoda's race that gave him the advantage, which
Yes.
I'm not down
I don't like
for,
that at all.
because I'd like the
Yeah.
idea of Yoda mastering it through effort,
Especially what he
which
goes through in the
gives him-
Clone Wars,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Like he goes through the craziest fucking shit
yeah.
ever in the Clone
well,
Wars.
it makes
and-
you
and
wonder
kind of-
why there's not more of his species that are Jedi that we get introduced to. If
Yeah,
it's such
well,
an
there's
inherent-
at least one.
Yeah.
There's one
Yaddle,
other,
yeah.
or I
Yoda
think
and
there's-
Yeah, that too, and it's like it
Yeah.
kind of takes away from Yoda because now it's like it was just given to him now instead of him earning
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
Yeah,
Well,
I
if it was
completely
given
agree
to
with
him,
that.
he still had to learn to master it. It's kind of like.
very easily
But
apparently.
it's kind of like the X-Men. They have so much power, but if they don't master it,
Right.
it could go either way. It could be a good
No,
thing or a
no,
bad
but
thing.
that's not
they have to go
equivalent,
get
though.
trained by Xavier to
Yeah.
master their powers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's-
so
it-
that's the thing. Like the baby Yoda is gonna have to
No,
get
no, no.
trained.
It's not
eventually.
equivalent to that because what you're thinking of is if there was an X-Men team and then one human in the X-Men team who's better than the rest of them, and you find out he's a mutant all along, it makes him less awesome because he never earned any of it. He's just
Yeah.
True.
But
inherently
my
powerful.
point is, maybe his powers are so powerful that they could be good or bad. So at some point,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to get trained
right,
to like use them for good.
Right,
kind of
right.
Well,
thing.
what ends up happening here, so, with the force healing, and then obviously it happened before the movie, and we kind of see that in the movie as well, is they're kind of making their way. But this is kind of where Grief Karga has like a change of mind, right?
Yeah.
Change your heart. Yeah.
Because what ends
So
up-
this is the scene I'm talking about where like he tells Cara Dune like I think they're gonna betray us. Watch my back, and then the next scene after that he lets 2 thugs behind him without even like looking. Grief Karga quick draws on them, shoots the 2 behind them who
Dual
had their guns.
pistols.
Like
Dual
they
pistols.
both would have just got lit up.
Yeah.
I mean Mando probably would have lived, but Cara Dune was dead.
Yeah.
Right? Like they got surrounded, and it was like I don't know. It was such a weird moment for me where it's like, yeah, let's prepare for the trap, and they like fell into the trap. If Grief Karga wanted to actually go through with it, they would have died, which is so weird to me.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it's revealed that Grief Karga is like turncoating because Baby Yoda helped him.
And it
deal-
changed
Yeah.
his mind.
Yeah, it changed his mind.
It
It's
changed his
interesting.
mind.
I think I said in this podcast earlier that Taika Waititi directed this episode. He directed the last episode, The Reckoning. This one actually was directed by Deborah Chow.
Oh, was she?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
who's going to be heading up the
That's
Obi-Wan
fantastic. She
series.
did a great job on this
Yeah,
episode.
this is
Yeah.
a good episode.
It really is. But I
The
do
fucking
like
shot
the
design's
scene, like
beautiful.
with them pointing the gun. And again, like very
Yeah.
Western, very
Yeah.
very Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they don't really have any choice but to sort of trust Grief Karga
Yeah.
anyway, and to sort of go along with this plan of his. And we kind of learn that he's kind of like, here's the thing, and Christine kind of mentions that he's in a tough spot, really. Like, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, Mando.
Really? Well, Grief Karga in that
Yeah.
point, like to sort of,
I think he has empathy, but it's like wrong. He has empathy for the situation, but this broke the rules of the business engagement and the agreement.
and so what he ends up doing now is they're kind of making this plan. It's, okay, we can't come in like being super suspicious, right? Because like obviously, like if you come in and just walking and everything's cool, they're gonna know something's up. So I guess Cara Dune is going to like pretend to be like one of his guards or something. Is that how that goes? And then they have this idea of maybe leaving Baby Yoda behind with Kawil and IG-11.
Yep.
So this whole like plan they're formulating, and you know, with him
Can I
caught,
just
how
say-
believable is it?
Well, Han Solo did it.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I just say it's really weird? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it. Like, you know, they can't see the Crimson, whatever. What's this ship called again? God damn it, I keep forgetting.
Razor
The Razor
Crest.
Razor Crest. Like they can't see the Razor Crest coming in. But can I just say they parked really far away from the city?
Oh my gosh, I was thinking that too. I was like, what? Like, you have empty parking spaces everywhere,
Yeah.
bro.
And like
This is not
assuming
Costco.
Grief Karga has like, assuming Grief Karga has some control over this planet. Like, anyways, it doesn't matter.
Also, this seems to be the only part of the planet that has a population
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I know, right?
I always like that how it's like a planet, but there's like one city
thing, yeah.
on it.
So they
They go
So-
into the town, which I always love.
and they pull
seeing.
the Chewie prisoner.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
And the plan is that they captured Mando.
Also, I love how
basically.
like the guards are just so like whatever. It's like they're like probably like minimum wage workers who
Yeah,
like don't
Scout
actually
Trooper.
give that much
Yeah,
of a
it's these
shit.
two
yeah, there's security.
It's these two scout troopers that you see in the second
Yeah, at the beginning of the second episode.
Yeah.
Played
So-
by Jason Sudeikis. One of them's Jason
Oh
Sudeikis.
no,
Oh,
are
it's
you
funny.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Is he the first one? Yeah, I
He's
think I
the
know
one that
who he is.
punches baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those two. Despite them punching Baby Yoda, those two were pretty funny to me.
Yeah. Sorry,
I did
spoiler.
think that was funny too.
Spoiler.
Damn, I did not think that was funny. I'm gonna go on record
Well,
saying
not
it was not.
that. I said despite that.
Oh, okay.
I
All
thought
right.
the
Yeah, but
scene
that's
was
spoiler for
funny.
next episode. But yeah, I
So
don't
they
know
pull
how
this like
believable-
decoy thing
Yeah.
with the I don't know who fell for that. Like I like the whole plan of him being taken in by Cara Dune, but not the whole floating egg. Like he's not in there. The first thing I would have said is open that motherfucker.
Of course.
That could be
Yeah.
a bomb.
Yeah, of course. Of course. No, yeah, I would have done the same thing for sure.
I know, real bad security here.
Yeah, for sure. And
Well, they trust
Yeah.
Grief Karga. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, but still, that could be a bomb.
And then meanwhile, we see Quill with little baby Yoda just going away,
Yeah.
riding on the blurg,
riding on that blurg.
riding through a lava field.
I mean, there's a lot of those on this planet, I guess.
Yeah, what
I
the
just
fuck?
like.
Oh,
Okay.
and also it's important to note that this entire town is now taken over by the Empire, not just
Yeah,
not just as the one building, because
Yeah.
they're the ones that greeted him, right?
yeah, Empire occupied now.
Oh, and then there's a funny beat where like Grief Karga keeps telling them like, yo, four people, 4 stormtroopers max, and then more stormtroopers
Yeah.
start piling in, and he's
Yeah.
like, you said 4.
Yeah.
Well, that was the only reason why they agreed to it and thought their plan
Yeah.
would
But he's like a
work.
typical salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like they do that
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. Like, oh,
I
okay.
love Werner Herzog in this role.
So good.
like he's so like he just screams Nazi right now. Like he just so good,
He's
dude.
the best.
Just so
Such a
good.
bad guy.
Yeah, and we don't really have much more time with him.
Yeah.
Because obviously this this thing can only last for so long. Their little plan.
Yep.
They're gonna get figured out
Yeah.
sooner or later.
So like they do this whole like they try to pull this whole Baby Yoda's in this like sealed off thing, and then it
He's
gets a call.
sleeping. No,
Yeah,
no,
he's
they go,
sleeping.
he's sleeping, and then Herzog's like, "We will be very, very quiet."
Well,
Yeah.
they were
That was good,
expecting
Frank.
they were expecting a fight, but they were expecting a fight with 4 stormtroopers. They
Yeah.
weren't expecting
Yeah.
what
Kept
they
coming
got.
in, Yeah.
Yeah. And Karga, or sorry, not Karga, the client goes on about how the Empire is better for the world than it is now, and he starts giving examples of like the way that the way that the universe has kind of fallen to shit since they've gone out of power.
Yeah.
And his examples are very like Thanos, like it's very like there's no there was no war, there was no this, there was no that. Yeah, but there was no fucking freedom either, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that is what
I'm sure-
dictators argue.
Yeah, they do. They argue about it all the
Very
time.
like
Yeah, yeah.
totalitarian.
Yeah.
I'm sure they made some
Totalitarian
planets
bullshit.
safer. Like the
We will
Huts
all
wouldn't
be
have been in
quiet.
power. But like, yeah, it's like, one evil.
when you explore, like when you explode Alderaan for like,
Yeah,
Like
totalitarian
when you're trading
leaders
one evil for another, like
always
Yeah.
use the example
The
of
lesser evil.
safety.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to make you have more safety and
Yeah,
everything's going to
security.
be great.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be safe and secure.
yeah, it was. There was actually one of the great points about Captain America: Winter Soldier was like the security and freedom are at odds with each other.
They are,
and it's
yeah.
like people have to trade their freedoms for security.
Hell yeah.
Otherwise, you
yeah.
have to be strong enough to defend yourself.
It's a balancing act, brother. It really is.
So
It's
I'm in
it's an
security,
existential.
and that does happen.
It's-
That is our struggle.
It's an existential balancing act. That's what it is.
yeah, and
right?
I've always erred in the side of freedom. I come from the Philippines, and
Yeah.
there is no security in the Philippines. Everybody has to be strong enough to defend themselves.
I'm from Ireland. I
Yeah.
err on the side of freedom too. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I'm from here-ish, and I'm okay with a little bit of both.
Yeah, I'm
You
okay
know?
with giving up a little freedom for a little security.
Depending on
Okay.
when.
Not to
where.
Amazon.
You give a
Fuck you,
little-
Amazon. Get your shit
I
out of
don't
my
have
house.
that.
Yeah.
I don't have that
Yeah.
in my house. I
No,
won't
I don't
do
have
that.
it. I don't have it
Same.
anymore. I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly.
No, I'm like real weird with tech though. I like don't like any of that in my house,
Yeah.
even though I
don't-
work in
I
a
don't
tech
want my
role.
stuff online. I don't
Yeah.
want cameras
That's the
filming
problem.
the inside of my house.
That's the problem
No
with
way.
that's the problem with trading freedom for securities because they don't do
It
it.
takes
they
it
don't
too
do
far.
They don't do it obviously. They do
Yeah.
it. They do it without you knowing about
Yeah.
it. That's the
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They do it in increments that you won't notice. Yeah. No, totally. 100%. So the scene progresses after Werner Herzog asks to see the baby, and then a stormtrooper comes up, taps him on the shoulder, whispers something in his ear, and he's like, hold that thought. He gets up, he goes to the bar area of the bar, and there's a hollow message from, looks like another Imperial, representing Esposito, Carlos Esposito, famous for Breaking Bad, playing Gus Fring. And
He's Grand Moff Gideon.
he's Grand Moff
So
Gideon.
awesome
Good.
name, by the way.
Yeah,
So good.
And he says, do you have the baby? And he's like, yeah, it's right here, right now. And he's like, well, you should double check that. And
I know
before he
he's the
can turn
only
around,
person to think of to do that.
yeah, and before he turns around, a fucking laser blast comes through the window, kills the client, because we only known him as the client, but the guy that Werner Herzog plays, kills him, kills a bunch of stormtroopers, and everybody scatters for cover, like Cara Dune and Grief Karga and the Mandalorian. Yeah, so giant firefight starts. Cara Dune and the Mandalorian and Grief Karga are pinned inside this bar, and the Empire is outside, and Moff Gideon has landed in a fucking TIE fighter.
And the sickest TIE fighter I've ever
Pretty cool
seen.
TIE fighter.
It like folds into
Pretty
like
cool TIE fighter.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah. I wonder if it can actually fly, does it have any aerial advantages?
Yeah, I know,
With
right?
the wings folded?
Yeah.
Like
Also-
kind of like the X-Wing, right?
Also,
Yeah.
the whole 4 stormtrooper thing really just goes out the window.
Yeah, it goes
That's
out the
like
window.
so many more. There's
You
like
guys-
a full
you guys
box.
know
There's a
this-
transport ship full of them.
You guys notice these stormtroopers are clean and the other ones are like dusty as shit. I think it has something to do with them. Like,
yes.
I swear these guys are in active duty and the other
Yes.
guys are just like security.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
brought in from somewhere else. And then there's Death Troopers from Rogue One
Yeah.
in this as well. And
Then
then
you find out later, flame troopers.
yeah, and then there's a flame trooper. And then the other thing is the assault carrier has never been seen in live action before. That's only been in animation.
Uh-huh.
So that was really cool to see too.
But yeah, they're kind of in a tough spot because they're now like in this bar. There's really not an escape that we can see of as of yet.
Yeah.
And then in the meanwhile, we have Queel and IG-11.
And then
being
the
chased
two scout troopers get sent after them
Yeah.
on freaking speeders.
Well, they picked up the Mando's transmission, asking like, "Are you okay? Is the baby okay?" Blah 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 blah. And then they went to look for him. Yeah.
So we don't seem like
So
we're in a good
it's Blurg
state.
versus
Blurg versus fucking land speeder.
Land Speeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like our heroes
speeder
are
bikes
in
or
a great
whatever.
spot right
Yeah.
now.
It's weird that he's in a normal. I mean, I guess it's not a normal TIE fighter. This is just me nerding out, but like you remember like Darth Vader's fighter.
Yeah.
I would assume he would have that kind of a fighter.
Yeah, it
and
was
not-
just
not a
like an
regular
angular
TIE
wing,
fighter.
right?
Maybe the
Yeah.
technology didn't exist yet. Maybe this.
No,
is-
this
No,
is
it's the
after.
same
This is
era.
after.
This is the same
This is
era.
actually after.
Yeah,
But anyways, so we get introduced
like
to
right after Return.
to
Oh, okay.
the best villain in this
Honestly,
show.
he's so good, and he's
So
only in it
good.
for such a small
Yeah.
amount of time.
So
but he has
good.
like a very good presence. Like, it was
Yeah.
really, it's like the way he carries it, right?
He's
Yeah,
always
he
been
was
like that.
great.
Yeah, because he
He's
doesn't
great.
come across like I really like it when people don't come like villains that can be sort of over the top and everything else, especially with like Star
Yeah.
Wars. You might find that, but it's just like a quietness in him that
Yeah.
I really think is even more terrifying
Yeah.
because you're like, what depths will he go to get what he wants?
Mhm.
One
Yeah,
of
I
the best
thought he was
villains
pretty
since
scary.
Tarkin, man. One of the best villains since Tarkin for sure.
Yeah, I like Tarkin.
Yeah, Tarkin was great.
One of the best moths.
Yeah,
since Tarkin.
definitely one of the best moths.
And I do like his like sort of expositions being like, you really don't have a choice right now in
Yeah.
a sense. It's like
Yeah,
we're after whatever you have. Like, we already have people sent out.
And I like that he wasn't easy to beat because these guys went in all cocky, like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna like kill 4 stormtroopers,
Yeah.
whatever." And I like
Yeah.
that he kind of anticipated
Yeah.
yeah.
what was gonna happen, and he was ready for it too.
Yeah, and we're cutting back and forth between the scene at the bar, where everybody's surrounded, to Queel basically on the blurg with Baby Yoda, trying to get to the Razor Crest as fast as he possibly can. And now the stormtroopers the scout troopers are starting to catch up to him
if
on
you
the speeder
parked
bikes.
closer to Costco, you would have been
No.
okay.
To Costco.
That's what I was saying, right?
Costco.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
no, for sure. He definitely would have. And like they're literally on his heels.
And maybe they were afraid of being detected. So
No, that's what I thought too. But like a day away, that's like
Yeah.
how long is that, right?
know.
A day walking.
I really thought he was going to make it too, because there's like when the ramp came down, he couldn't have been more than 100 feet from the ship.
Well, that's what they wanted you to feel like.
Yeah, I know.
And then
Yeah.
all you see is like Baby
They wanted you
Yoda,
to
like
be
his little
really
thing on the
disappointed.
ground.
Little bundle.
Man, he's
on the
durable
ground.
as fuck. That
Yeah.
Baby Yoda.
But babies are kind of
Babies
like
are
durable.
durable, yeah.
They like bounce.
Have you felt a head of a baby?
Yeah,
I'm,
actually,
yeah.
I'm always holding it like putty.
Yeah, but they
Not
don't.
putty glass.
If
or
you
something.
drop a baby, they don't die, and they don't always get hurt either
let's not
because like
test
their
that theory.
bones
Yeah,
aren't
we're not gonna
fused.
test it.
Their bones aren't fused yet, so they're kind
That's
of like
why I'm scared.
they're,
Like,
they're
Yeah.
squishy. They're squishy.
But anyway, Baby Yoda is quite a durable baby. He's really capable. But do you
Queel,
have that
though,
sad
is
So
scene?
not
the,
that
the skull
durable.
bones take a while to fuse because that's how they come out of a person. Their head gets squished.
Stop,
Just like,
stop,
Chris is
stop,
like,
stop,
I'm done.
stop, stop.
Chris is like, I'm done.
Stop.
Queel-
Miracle of life.
Queel gets
Go
turned
away
into
from me.
bacon.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Queel.
And-
And so does the
and
blurg.
the desert and the blurg.
And the other 2 blurgs too are
And
long
like
gone.
it's a really
So sad.
graphic shot of a dead Ugnaught. Like
That's really.
I don't think there's
sad.
ever been a graphic this graphic a shot in Star
They
Wars in
want you
terms
to
of the
feel
death.
sad. 'cause
Oh
we
yeah,
like
it's
Well,
fucking
Queel.
depressing.
Well, Uncle Owen was pretty bad too.
Uncle Owen was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
bad,
but but they were like skeletons.
Skeletons.
Or like Shmi, I guess we didn't
Yeah.
really see, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It is pretty upsetting. It's a character I really like.
Kudos, Deborah Chow. Kudos.
Yeah,
and rest in
great
peace,
episode.
Queel. Rest in peace.
and
Um,
blurg 1, 2, and 3.
They did it when
Yeah.
the girl died too. In that one episode where they had the girl, they were trying to capture. And then when she died, it was kind of they zoomed in a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's her name? Chun-Li
Chun-Li.
from Street Fighter.
But I think she's gonna be
Oh,
alive, and I think she's gonna come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think she's long dead. no?
Yeah.
She's great.
But yeah, all in all, like a great episode directed by Deborah Chow. I'm really looking forward to her sort of helming the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my
looking
god.
forward to the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she looks great. Like her sense of shot design is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like really, really good. I'm really looking forward to see what she does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys, let us know what you thought of this episode, The Reckoning, episode 7. We're going to be covering the next episode, which is the last one, next. So definitely stay tuned for that. But visit us at meanwhile_pod is our Instagram. You guys have thoughts or questions or things you agreed or disagreed with. But I think all in all, guys, pretty good episode.
Yeah, or drop us an email too at meanwhile.botpodcast@gmail.com, with any questions, because I don't know if you guys heard, but we actually have our first call-in show that we're going to be publishing this week, that we did around the subject of The Rise of Skywalker. So we want to do more of these things. So if you guys have any cool questions for us about The Mandalorian, about anything from Star Wars, hell, if you want to talk about Watchmen, drop us a note, and we'd love to answer your question on a future show.
Okay, so this is going to be, this still is, Saba signing off. Thanks, guys, for listening.
This is Chris.
Christina.
And Frank,
Later, dudes.
Bye.
peace.